you want to talk about 151, huh? Okay. 151 is just straight blasting through the stratosphere right now. And if you don't know what that is, it is the second lowest layer of the atmosphere of Earth. But I assume all of my naturally born galaxy brain viewers already knew that. 151 is what I want to talk about today. Why it's so expensive right now of all times, but also just the context of it, the history of it, and why this set is just exploding. And stick around to the end because I'll talk about ways to get more 151 if you're in the market for it. So let's talk about 151. But before we do that, my name is Pokemon Trader. I'm a collector. I started back in 1999 when I was a kid and then got back into it as an adult back in 2014. So I've been doing it longer than like 99% of other YouTube Pokemon content creators on YouTube. And I made a promise that when I hit 1,000 subscribers, we'd be ripping open that Evolving Skies booster box, and we're gonna do that. So stay tuned. I'm hoping to do it in the next week or two once I get everything set up to be able to stream. So before we look at what is happening right now with 151, with the prices exploding, we need to understand the context and the history of where it's come from and where we've been. Like, why did the Roman Emperor Caligula in 40 AD commit absolute savage destruction on the ocean? While invading Gaul, the Emperor Caligula ordered his troops to stop fighting, march to the seashore, and stab the water with their little pokies. But a while after that, we invented Pokemon cards. And it all began with the original base set back in 1999.
And when demand outpaces supply, it quickly becomes a seller's market.
These boxes here have actually gone up in price faster than some of our football boxes. This one box there has tripled in price. So it's caused the price of the packs to go from about $2.99 all the way up to currently at about $6.99.
In just a month?
Less than a month. About a week and a half to 2.
This set first came out in January of 1999 in the United States. So this set was, of course, the base set, and along with the two expansions that came after it, Jungle and Fossil, these sets contained the original 150 Pokemon plus one secret Pokemon that was added to the original red and green Japanese Game Boy games in secret. That was all the way back in 1996 in Japan. And of course, that was Mew, which was also later added as a Black Star promo card in the WotC era in 1999. This was a prize card for the Pokemon League, which was a popular organized play event that happened back in the 90s. So with the addition of Mew, we have the original 151 Pocket Boys. So if you fast forward 27 years to 2023, in the year of our Lord Arceus, we have the modern Pokemon trading card game set released known as Scarlet and Violet 151. So this set, if you're a total retard, is based on the original 151 Pokemon that came out back in 1999. So this set contains no reprints of the original cards, but reimagined art styles and themes for the original 151 Pokemon. So like I mentioned before, it was originally released in 2023, which was the absolute balls worst of a time that you could possibly release a banger Pokemon set like 151. This was smack dab in the middle of the bear market that came after the COVID Logan Paul boom back in 2020 and 21. If you weren't around back then, the Pokemon market exploded. Much like what's happening right now, but honestly, quite a bit less hype. It was still massively hyped, but nowhere like what it is today, and it didn't last as long as it's lasting today. So back in 21, everything was flying off the shelves, like I said, much like it is now, but just to a little bit less of a degree. We were still getting booster box reprints, for example, which we've seen absolutely none of today. And it's where all of you stayed home for 6 months getting free tendies from Papa Trump and just nuking shiny cardboard. So this set came out right after that, like I said, after everyone had left the hobby, everyone realized how gay and stupid Pokemon cards were and realized that they didn't want to have anything to do with it. COVID was over. I'd much rather go to the beach. So initially back then, 151 just kind of sat on the shelves. You could pick up pretty much as you wanted. It didn't last like months at a time, but I remember picking up tons of UPCs and booster bundles on Walmart.com below MSRP. So that was like $89.99 for the UPCs, and I think it was about $26.95 for the booster bundles, which might actually be MSRP. But either way, it was cheap compared to today's prices, and they sat like that for days, weeks, even months at a time for something like the UPC, which people for some reason hated. I don't really understand why. I guess I understand the appeal of buying the ETBs and booster bundles, but everyone hated the UPC, probably just mainly because of the price point. That's where we were a few years ago, and where we are now is, I'm sure all of you guys have been hearing it. It's all over Reddit, Discord, all over YouTube. Everyone's talking about 151, and it's true, the prices are just exploding. Everybody wants a juicy piece of 151, even if it's just talking about it, not actually ripping it. So what is going on with 151 right now in 2026? Why is it exploding now? Well, I've got 5 reasons why 151 is more expensive than your mom and why it's exploding so much right now. And pay attention, because the last one is insane. Insane, yes, but also true, like your mom. So these videos take quite a lot of time for me to research and edit, so a quick word from the sponsor.
The sponsor for this video is the Collector app. The Collector app is the perfect portfolio tracker for all your TCG needs. Whether you're just a collector or an investor, you can track your daily market trends on the go wherever you need to be. Whether you're working, traveling, on the mountain, or pooping, you can check it anytime, anywhere. You can upload all of your raw or sealed cards from over 200,000 items in their database. It's free to download and free to use, and the monthly pro membership is only $4.99. Check it out today, guys. The link is in the description. Woo! Check it anywhere!
So the first reason, and probably the most obvious of the 5 reasons, is that it's simply based on the original base set Jungle and Fossil, the original first generation of Pokemon that ever came out. So many of the Pokemon from the first generation are the top Pokemon, the face of the hobby: Pikachu, Charizard, Mew, Mewtwo, Snorlax. Venonat? I like Diglett. So of course it's based on one of, if not the most popular set. There are other very popular sets like Gen 2, Gen 3, maybe Gen 5, but none of them really compare to Gen 1. And quite frankly, all the unks like me actually have money now. So we can spend an absolute metric butt ton of money on shiny cardboard. So I think now is a good time to just take a look at some of these cards in the set. Of course, you've got tons of SIRs of popular Pokemon like the original starters and their evolutions. And if you didn't know, the 3 starters, so Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle, and their evolutions all connect within their own evolutions to make a single art set that connects, and it's just so cool. So the second reason is pretty simple. It's that 151 is about to go out of print. So for those of you who don't know, typically how the Pokemon Company prints cards is they go in 2-year print cycles. So they will release a set and you can pre-order that set. Then when it comes out, the Pokemon Company will typically print as much or as little as they want in the next 2 years. And usually after 2 years, they don't really print anymore, which has been great for collectability, rarity, and the value increasing of these cards, unlike something like Magic the Gathering, where they will just go back and reprint the same cards into absolute oblivion. Pokemon Company doesn't do that, which is really smart, but also makes it difficult for us to get cards when it's such a hyped set like 151. So in short, it's about to go out of print, which doesn't really even matter that much because the Pokemon Company is most likely not going to be printing any more 151 right now anyways. And so we still have technically, I think, like a few weeks to a few months before it goes out of print fully. I believe it's in April of this year, 2026, when it actually finally fully goes out of print, out of rotation for the TCG, meaning you can't play it in tournaments, you can't compete with it. But this happens pretty much every time, is that when a set is about to go out of print, people start remembering that set and hyper-focusing on it and just dumping money into it, driving prices up, because everybody knows they're not going to get any more restocks or any more reprints. So the other thing is, if you look here, you can see that the quantity available for some of the sealed boxes is dwindling fast. I mean, just a few months ago, you had hundreds, if not thousands of boxes available on TCG Player, and now some of them are down into the teens. So of course, that is also going to drive demand, drive hype and FOMO, and people are just going to realize there really isn't that much left of this set. And with all the rip and shippers that exist nowadays, it's massively more than it was 5 years ago, and certainly exponentially more than it was 10 years ago. So a lot of these cards are still getting ripped because rip and shippers can buy these cards on the secondary market, buy them in booster bundles, ETBs, or loose packs, and then they sell them on Whatnot or TikTok or YouTube on their live streams, where they just basically sell them at 110, 120% market value, and people get the fun of having another dude open your packs. I don't know, it's kind of cucked. So number 4, of course, we have the 30th anniversary hype. The 30th anniversary set is coming out this October, and with that, it's drawing a lot of people back into the hobby, a lot of eyes on the hobby. Just a few weeks ago during the Super Bowl, the Pokemon Company released an ad, which kind of sucked in my opinion, but it was an ad nonetheless during the Super Bowl. And if you check the Google Trends, around that time is when searches for Pokemon and Pokemon cards just surged. So I know up to half of you are not in the United States. So for those of you who are not in the United States, the Super Bowl is the biggest sporting event of the year in America. It's a football game, and it's the culmination of the whole year of football games ending in a bigger game. So the ads that play during the Super Bowl are really expensive to buy, and they get seen by a lot of people. And my number 5 reason is one that I really don't hear other content creators or anybody on Discord or Reddit talking about, and it seems very obvious. Again, this is sort of a United States only factor, and it's tax return season. Right now, we're in March going into April, which is when everybody typically gets their tax returns back, meaning they have thousands of dollars to just spend on hot tubs, trips, and shiny cardboard. I talked about this online and in some of my videos months ago that this was going to happen because it happens every year. Tax return season comes around and people dump a bunch of money into Pokemon cards. It happens every year, so I just assumed it was going to happen again, and lo and behold, here we are. So with Pokemon 151 receiving more attention than the Star Wars Episode 1 Phantom Menace child actor Jake Lloyd received for his iconic flat acting, is now a good time for you to buy 151. Should you be buying 151 now, or should you just look somewhere else? Well, 151 is just absolutely peaking right now, which is usually a good sign that you should not be buying it right now. So like I said, I've been doing this a long time. I'm a collector and an investor, so I watch the charts, the graphs, and I keep track of the data, and I have done that for the better part of 12 years. And I've seen where things go, and especially with singles, but even if you're looking to buy 151 boxes like booster bundles or UPCs or ETBs, typically when cards or sets peak like this, they run up who knows how far. Nobody really knows. This could run up for another couple weeks. I mean, maybe longer, but probably not. My assumption is that we're probably near the top of this current little bubble here. But once it reaches that, it might go sideways again, maybe for a day, a week, a month, who really knows. But after that, typically prices drop off from that. So right now is usually not the time to buy. But when prices come down eventually, they never come back down to where they were before. So that's just gone. Buying 151 booster bundles under $100, I would imagine is gone forever. So that's just not gonna happen. But you could still get a better deal if you just wait a little bit. If you're buying Pokemon cards at all-time highs, the chart is just at the peak, I would recommend never buying it. I don't ever do that, and I never have done that, and I've never been burned by it because I just wait till the prices come down. So that's kind of the history and the context. That's where we've been and where we are right now with 151, and what I think you should do if you're looking to buy 151. And also, caveat, that goes for the singles as well. I was sort of just talking about the boxes before, but it definitely applies to the singles. Just wait till prices come back down, because I promise you they will. They do every time, and a bunch of people get screwed because they think it's never gonna happen. Prices are never coming back down. I have to buy in right now. And that's a difficult feeling to master, but you have to just stuff it down. And when you do stuff it down, you can then be reasonable and just understand the prices will come back down. They always have, they always do. Now, they won't come back to where they've been, like I said, and they will eventually go back up again, but they will come back down in the short term. So what are the best ways for you to get 151 if you want to buy 151, again, not right now, but soon? Well, I would recommend if you're trying to rip packs or even invest, I am wary about things like the Pokemon Center ETB, things that have a massive premium on them because of scarcity or perceived exclusivity, like the Pokemon Center ETB, which is essentially just an ETB. It just has the Pokemon Center logo on the front, and then the promo has the Pokemon Center stamp. They will always be worth more than the non-exclusive version, but that's okay with me, especially if you're just trying to open packs. So stay away from products like that, but something like the booster bundle is probably going to be the best way for you to get more 151, either to rip or to invest or keep sealed, than any other option. The booster bundles are amazing. It's another no fluff product like a booster box, but since 151 is a specialty set, there are no booster boxes. So you either have ETBs, booster bundles, UPCs, or you have collection boxes, which tend to be not great deals for the number of packs that you get. But the booster bundles were $100 for a long time, which felt like a steal. And right now they are definitely surging, but I would imagine that they'll come back down to maybe $140, $150, maybe settle around there. Maybe it's a little bit more, maybe it's a little bit less. Again, nobody really knows, but that is my general feeling of where that will kind of settle out at. So 151 booster bundles are going to be the best way for you to get more 151 packs for less. That's about it. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help. Peace.